It's Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024.
And welcome to another episode of Duckweed Billionaire with Jeremy Wright. Actually, this show's called Tank Talks. I don't know why I said that. But I'm going to show you something kind of cool. So this is Tank A. Those of you who follow me see this all the time, but it's changed. About a week ago, I did a major haircut into this tank. Got it down to, it's just like a different ecosystem. I needed to do that with this tank as well, and I've now done that. Oh, look, there's the sponge filter that I found on the bottom of the tank. Pre-filter sponge. It's been missing for who knows how long, probably a month. So, what just happened? I removed roughly 3 pounds of plant matter from this 55-gallon tank, and I guess one of the things I really want to talk to you about today is those specific plants. So one of them, really easy, really common, guppy grass. Very common in our hobby in the aquatics trade. The other is a group of plants that's so often misidentified, mislabeled. Some of them are actually illegal to sell in the aquarium hobby, and I think that's part of why they get mislabeled. But the group of plants that gets commonly called Anacharis within our hobby. So Anacharis is a defunct, extinct genus name. It's not actually something that exists in science or in Latin nomenclature. But all the same, the aquarium hobby, the aquatics, aquaculture hobbies still call like 5 different groups of plants, 5 different genus Anacharis, or sorry, 4 different genus, 5 different major plants that I'm thinking about. So let's just dive in. The most common is in our hobby probably Brazilian waterweed, which is Egeria densa. Now there's some confusion between the genuses or genii Elodea and Egeria. Some people think that they are the same. I'm under the impression that science has not merged these. If you look at any current journals in like invasive species, they will refer to Brazilian waterweeds as Egeria densa. Now, how do you identify Egeria densa? First off, it's this plant right here, and that is also this plant right here. So it has like 5 to 8 leaves per node, per whorl, and smooth, relatively soft, straight leaves. North American waterweeds, Elodea canadensis, which is the same as Elodea densa, which is not really the common name we use any longer. Elodea canadensis and Elodea natali or Nuttall's waterweed both have, rather than like 6 or 8 leaves per whorl, they're only going to have about 3. Otherwise, it looks pretty similar. They grow from nodes, and that's for the North American Elodeas or Elodea. Now, this is South American Egeria densa, Brazilian waterweed, as opposed to North American, Canadian, or North American waterweed. There's another group, the African waterweeds. I don't have an example to show you, which are, they are native to South Africa and Madagascar. And African waterweeds is, Lagarosiphon, I believe is the genus. and they don't grow as tall. They're kind of funny looking. Similarly, they have quite a few leaves per whorl, but they just look so markedly different. I don't think we're going to actually get these confused too often. And they're not actually that common in our hobby from what I've seen. Another name for that plant is oxygen weed, oxygen plant. There are quite a few that I'm leaving off. And if you'd like to see a more deep dive into this, you can join or check out Arkansas Planted Aquarium Club group on Facebook. And I have a pinned technical article about this group of plants that's known as Anacharis. So let's look at another one that I brought over here. This is a different plant. This is an Asian waterweed. And this is a Hydrilla. So Hydrilla actually has rough serrated leaves, but otherwise it's very dense and it has a lot of leaves like Egeria densa does, or Brazilian waterweed, but much more rough to the touch. It's kind of tough. I think this stuff grows in faster moving water just based on its density. A lot of the American waterweeds grow in really still or slow moving waters, and they're thought of as like pond weeds. Actually, that's one of the names of the American Elodea canadensis is just common pond weed. So this stuff down here, however, not the same stuff, but it's easy to mix up. So let's look at these two just kind of side by side. Hydrilla, Brazilian waterweed, aka Elodea densa, or sorry, Egeria densa. The Elodeas are the North American, Egeria is South American. That's kind of one way of thinking about this. So I don't need these over here, so they're going to, let's take a pause while I toss it back. Well, I said we were going to take a pause. This is all Hydrilla, but I just wanted to show you. This is growing up in like a 30-something gallon convict cichlid tank. And they don't seem to be too capable or ready to tear this stuff up, so cool. However, Hydrilla is not legal for sale in most US states, and I think that even may go for Egeria densa as well. They're invasive, so check your local area, certainly before you try selling any of this stuff, but also before you try to buy it for your hobby. And if you do have any, keep it inside like this. Don't put it outside in a pond. So now we're back over to the 55-gallon tank A, and yeah, so looking back in here, this tank lost, like I said, a few pounds of plant matter today. Let's just back up and look at it a little bit. I mean, to me, it looks barren and not devoid of shape, because obviously it's still got its original scape. But you know what? This crooked thermometer down here is bugging me. Let's see what we can do with that. And the silly air stone is bugging me too. So my buddy Suckass lives down behind that rock. Now let's see if we can find Suckass. He came from some of my friends who were, I don't know what they were doing. For some reason, they wanted to rehome him. He's a male ancestral catfish. And I guess I turned the lights on for recording, and I do believe the ancestress bristlenose catfish, they're not out here. Another thing with nomenclature and improper naming, ancestress bristlenose catfish are not plecos. So when you hear people calling bristlenose catfish plecos, correct them. They're not plecostum. Oh, there's one. Who is this? This is our female. She's been in here for years, and she's why Suckass came in here. But he's actually, I said this wrong. He lives behind this rock. She lives behind this rock. They both have caves down under them that they've dug out, and it's just been like that for a while, for a long. Oh, here's another recent addition. So my friend Gate gave me this beautiful gold angel. So I'm letting. I mean, it's still small, right? It's still a little guy, but it popped out. It was the only baby of that color from her place, and I gladly adopted it, thinking, yeah, that'll go great in here with all these yellow gups. So I say yellow guppies. I mean, they're mostly yellow, right? So going back a couple of years, those were Endler Guppy hybrids. And this is I should know. I should know exactly what they're called, but I don't. Anyway, we're doing a colony breeding exercise in here just to see what kind of morphs we can get. And I removed quite a few of them recently and put them in a different area. But basically, I'm just kind of slowly grabbing my yellow guppies. See, like this female's got this pretty yellow tail on her. Like, she was born here. All of these guppies were born here. But we removed a bunches of them. Kind of non-specifically, no rhyme or reason. It was just the ones I was catching as I was removing plants. And I think we're now in a pretty good situation. Like, this is a pretty healthy looking tank. It's got a decent plant to animal ratio in here right now. And you know what? I'm gonna give them a treat. These guys have gone through quite a bit. Let's feed them. All right, got some food here. This is some stuff that I really like. This is an American producer, Aquatic Foods, and these are marine flakes. Now, don't get tripped out by, oh, marine, you're supposed to give these to saltwater fish. They don't freaking know. Like, they don't know. This is just quality food, and we're now feeding them for their second time today. Actually, it's a lot easier to feed this tank with all the plants out of here. Not only that, the fish, oh wow. So yeah, I just fed them the same amount I would have fed them if I hadn't removed like 20 or 30 gups. So I probably just messed up. I just realized that when I saw food immediately going down. I was like, uh-oh, I just overfed them. But that's the amount I've been feeding this tank for many months, and it might just take me a second to remember that there are, you know, a lot less big fish in here. So whatever, the catfish will get a little bit of extra yum yums. Something I'm noticing, like, since I pulled all the plant matter, it had to be before that, because I was removing snails from plant matter as I was actually pulling this stuff. And here's one of my bins. This is mostly guppy grass here. But as I was pulling those, I was, grabbing the snails. And my ram's horn snails, if I find them basically in any tank, I go throw them in my convict tanks. And they eat them, and that's just what we do. But, yeah, this is the modification of the day around here at my house and the seat of the Arkansas Planted Aquarium Club, APAC Tropical Farms. And incidentally, I think I'm going to start making some t-shirts. Like, I just got a wild hair the other day to take some of my art and see what it looked like on a t-shirt. And I think I'm going to do some of that, specifically for the aquatics hobby. So if anybody's interested in that stuff, I'll probably drop a link in some later videos once I've actually gotten that sorted out. Probably going to be like a Printify thing and maybe Etsy or something, but we'll figure it out. So you have listened to me yammer on for quite a while. I think it's shut off time. We're going to go back to normal lighting, and this is kind of how I view this tank each evening. I like evening lighting, low light situations, or dimmer light on tanks. For some reason, it just gives it a nice feel to me. You might like it with, purple light or pink light or something. Like, I generally don't care for that stuff. Blue light, no, no thank you. Give me some whitish natural looking light, or at least some RGBW. But I think we're gonna cut here. This tank is going to be pretty interesting. Oh, jumping back, the last thing I wanted to mention, the reason I pulled all the plants out, about a week ago, I shot a video and mentioned that I had noticed that tanks with an excess of plant matter compared to their animal biomass, like the ratio of plants to animals, it should be somewhere on the order of about 12 to 1 plants to animals. If you get too far out there, or you're not feeding your tank as much as you should be with a ton of plants, pH starts rocketing up. And this is something that I've been fighting in a few different tanks. That's actually why I did the major rescaping. It's not rescaping. The removal of stuff from this tank and the one next to it. They had too many plants. The pH was rising, and it took me a little bit to figure it out. I was going, oh, it's photosynthesis. I knew that years ago. Why did I forget? So instead of doing just like tons of water changes, let's just remove some plants and, you know, give some stuff away, sell it to some local fish stores. So yeah, I've got a few pounds of plant matter that I can sell off and go buy some fish food with, or trade for something cool. Anyway, hope you have a good evening, or whatever time of day it is for you. Obviously it's evening for us here, and I'll catch you later.